Hey guys, it's me, Alex. I just wanted to take a moment to explain to you why I wrote my song LA Affair. Before I get into the video, make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you are always in the know of when I upload. Make sure to like this video and share it if it inspires you and you think it might inspire someone else. So the reason that I wrote this song LA Affair was because I was so inspired by my trip to Los Angeles for the very first time. I believe this was in 2014. When I first went out to Los Angeles, I didn't know anyone. This was before I had friends in California. This was way before I had any family in California. So me going to Los Angeles felt like the ultimate adventure of my life. And I had always imagined what it would be like. I imagined it to be this like sunny, beautiful, calm place with palm trees and sunshine and just like, creative people and artistic people. And I was so enchanted by that imagination of what it was. I didn't know anyone when I first went there. And I was connected to someone through a mutual friend, and they were kind enough to house me and also show me around and give me a tour of, downtown LA and Runyon Canyon and just driving around Long Beach, California. So it was scary because we didn't know each other, but we had this mutual connection. So there was sort of this, feeling of security and trust. So when I got there, and actually before I hopped on the plane, I called him the night before, and he's a really good friend of mine. He's super creative, makeup artist, just an amazing, generous soul. And I called him the night before I hopped on the plane, and I was like, hello? And he was like, hi. And it was so weird because it was actually the first time that we were hearing each other's voices, and I was coming from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast from across the country, and we were gonna meet for the first time. And the only time that we actually heard each other's voices was the night before I got on the plane. So I think that that's like a really crazy scenario. And I don't know how or why we were open to that. I ended up staying with him at his place, and it was so nice of him to open up his home to me. And every single day, we would go out and do like photo shoots, and we would drive around California, and I would meet his friends, and we would go out at night, and it was just such an amazing time. And his friends are also great. I felt really lucky because I felt like I had met a really good group of people in LA, and I had always heard that LA people were so fake, and they only really liked you if they could get something from you. And that's probably the majority of the truth, the majority of people over there. But I was really lucky that I met people who were so genuine. I remember going to this open flea market, and I remember when I first got there, the first couple days, when I first got to his place, I saw his wardrobe, and I was like stunned. I was completely shook. I was in shock because I had never been bold enough to wear anything beyond like a button-down shirt and like khaki shorts at that point. And he was so inspiring to me because his fashion was so bold and so loud and so out there. He had like I think it's called fishnet style like shirts, and he had like these sharp studs on his like flat brimmed hats and all kinds of metallic colors and glittery stuff. And I was like, wow, this is bold, and this is crazy, and this is awesome. And I could never dress like that because of the way that I was brought up and the environment that I was brought up in. I always felt very weird about dressing up like in a flashy kind of bold way because I knew it was going to draw attention to myself. And I knew that that was the last thing that I wanted to do because I was already drawing too much attention to myself because I just naturally do that. So when I saw his wardrobe, I was super intimidated, but I was so inspired. And I knew that I wanted to walk away from California with a new piece of clothing. I remember he took me to this like open flea market, and there was this designer called Rojas Clothing. And he was there selling his own designs. And I loved his like tank tops and his fishnet shirts, and I ended up buying like 3 of his pieces because they were just so cool, and they're such staples in my wardrobe. I don't wear them that often because I don't know, I don't go out enough, but I love rocking them every single time. I love unique wardrobe, you know what I mean? And I was so inspired in California when I found that, and I got to connect with a designer, and I just felt like anytime I travel, I want to take something away from it and bring it back home. And this was like me stepping into my boldness. When I choose to write a song, it's because I'm super inspired about whatever it is I'm feeling, and that feeling that I'm feeling is it doesn't go away. So when it's like something that's constantly there and I'm thinking about it and it's not going away, I have to write it down. I have to get it out. I have to process it. I have to feel it. I have to really just flesh it out. And that's why I decided to write LA Affair, because it was such an emotionally impactful experience for me. I remember we would be driving down the 495, which I believe is the right number of the highway. And I just remember like he had these heart-shaped rose-colored sunglasses, and I was like, wow, like this guy, you know, wears these heart-shaped sunglasses and he's totally like comfortable with himself. And I always felt like nervous to do something like that, you know? But then I put them on and I was like, I felt so liberated. I felt like putting them on like gave me a new lease on life. It's the weirdest thing. It's like ridiculous of me to say that about a pair of sunglasses, but it's just the fact that I could really express myself however it is that I wanted to in California, and that's what was so freeing about it. And I would put on the sunglasses in the car and we'd be riding down the highway, and I would see to my right, you know, these palm trees and the sunset and the ocean, and the wind would just be in my hair. And that's why in the chorus of LA Affair you hear riding around, all 4 windows down, and the wind running through our hair. Got your sunglasses on. So that was his sunglasses, because I remember that like it was yesterday. Got your sunglasses on, play that new Del Rey song. So we would be playing Lana Del Rey. At the time she had come out with, I think, Paradise, her Paradise album. So we were playing Lana Del Rey a lot. And every time it came on when the sun was setting or whatever, and like I was just on the road, you best believe I was shedding tears. I was crying like a man baby. Like I was really losing it. Tears down my face. I was completely silent too, because that's how I am. I'm a Cancer and it's my zodiac, so I'm really like emotional, and I think deep about things, and sometimes it's like too much, but in that moment I was like so affected by that. It impacted me so much, so that it made it into the chorus. So the first verse goes, the summer of my life began when I touched down in La La Land. And the reason I said the summer of my life began is because it's like the best part of the year. It's the best season of the year, and it was the best chapter of my life because I was in a completely new place. I was with the kind of people I wanted to be around, and I was super inspired and expressive. So that's why I chose to say the summer of my life began when I touched down in La La Land. I say this LA cruise got so much style. Damn, these angels are on fire, because they were fire. And they did have a lot of style. And I love the way we ride. I love the way you make me feel. Your sun brings my soul to life. So that was the pre-chorus. And when I'm saying that, I love the way that we ride and how they make me feel, because I just felt like totally free to be me. Your sun brings my soul to life. It was their sun, but it was also like the California sun. And they did bring me to life because I was able to just shine and be myself. And that's what's so important. That's another reason why I was inspired to write the song. And then the second verse is, home is where you don't feel fear. Anything could happen here. Life can be a work of art. You can make it. You're a lion heart. So it's just kind of like a mantra to myself and a motto for me to remember and to affirm and believe for myself. And for anyone else who's listening, you know, it's important to remember that home should be where you don't feel fear, and that where you feel super comfortable, and you should be able to make your life a work of art. That last line in verse 2, you can make it your lion heart. It's a reminder to me to be strong and to remember that I'm courageous and that I'm strong. And I want it to be a lyric that other people resonate with, you know, who are maybe feeling like they're not so strong all the time, or they're afraid to create that life that they want to create. And then some of my favorite lyrics, which I just recently remembered why I wrote them, was in the bridge. And in the bridge it says, haters say we're too extreme, but we don't make apologies. We're okay and we've got dreams. We're a part of a new breed. I really like those lyrics, and I was super intentional about those lyrics. I was intentional about all the lyrics. In any song that I create, I'm super intentional about it because I want to come from a place of real truth. So the lyrics in the bridge are some of my favorites because I remember having a conversation with my host and my great friend, and I would ask him, like, how are you so bold? Like, how are you able to be 100% yourself? How? Like, how do you do it? How do you not worry about what people think? How do you not, like, feel bad by what people say or whatever, you know? Because I was really, like, back then, I was super worse than I am now about, you know, worrying about what other people think and say and how they see me and perceive me and treat me. I was really, really struggling with that in 2014. So I would ask him, like, how did you do it? Like, what was your story? What was it? I always love to ask people what their empowerment stories are, like their arc and their transition into, like, their growth, basically, because I think it's inspiring, and it also gives me, like, a blueprint and a framework for how I armor myself or better my situation. So I asked him, like, how did you do it? And, like, how did you go from the before and after? And he was like, well, you know, my grandmother, or I had, like, family members who would see the way that I wore makeup and the way that I dressed and the way that I acted, and they would tell me, like he was saying, that they would tell him that he was being too extreme, you know, and that his behavior was too extreme. And along the way, he decided that, you know what, instead of feeling like, yeah, you know what, I am too extreme for people, like I should calm down and, like, whatever, and dim my light, he decided, you know what, I am extreme, and if people have a problem with it, then they can have a problem with it. They're gonna have to accept me. I mean, they love me. I know that they're not gonna kick me out. And I was like, wow, I can't believe that you just knew that. You were so sure of that, because there's so many people out there who they're so scared to, like, be who they are because they're afraid of rejection, and they're afraid of loneliness, and they're afraid of being, like, kicked out or, you know, abused or beaten or anything like that. So it was really amazing for me to hear that he was so sure that he had his family's love, and that he knew that even if he was being too extreme, like, he could still accept that and they were gonna love him regardless. So I was like, wow, I wonder if I could model that, you know, if I could get to a place or a point where I could have that same sort of mentality. So that's why that lyric is in the bridge, you know, haters say we're too extreme, but we don't make apologies. Because he didn't apologize. He stopped apologizing. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to stop apologizing. So that's why I wrote it in my song. We're okay and we've got dreams. This is, like, to myself. These lyrics are to myself. It's like, I'm okay and I've got dreams. I have a reality that I want to manifest. We're a part of a new breed. When I said that we're a part of a new breed, it's like we are part of a tribe that just gets it. We get it from a higher level, or, like, a higher perspective. For me, it's all about love and let love. Let love in, love wins. You know, that's how I see it. And when I said we're a part of a new breed, it's like we're just part of a new group of people. And maybe it's a generation, maybe it's just a tribe or a collective, or it's your group of friends, that we see life in a different way. And it's more loving, and it's more open, and it's more forgiving, and it's more empathic, and it's beautiful, and it's freedom to me, and I love it. So just to summarize, I was really, really impacted by my trip to LA. I was shown adventure in a completely new environment. I was shown how to be bold and how to be more expressive from a visual standpoint, and how that informed my mentality. And I was just so present at the time. And I think when I'm being really present, that's when I'm feeling really, like, an urge to write music. Thank you so much for watching. This is the reason why I wrote my song LA Affair. It's available now on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, and all the other major streaming platforms. Please give me a follow on Spotify, add my song to your playlist, take a moment to subscribe, like my video, leave a comment down below if you listened to the song. Let me know if anything I said to you about the lyrics or the origin of the reason why I wrote this song inspired you in any way. And if you have any stories of when you were feeling freedom of expression and you were feeling inspired by other people or by traveling and how you grew as a person, I'd love to hear that story. And so please feel free to share that with me. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. You guys rock. Thank you to everyone who has supported my single. Thank you to everyone who has been watching, and I appreciate you guys so much. Mwah. See you later.